worked, but I had to start a new broadcast, I think. So yeah, let's go into our settings. Oh no, oh, fuck's sake, I'm in the fucking sprint race. Right, this is going to be my last attempt. If it doesn't work, then I'm out of ideas and I won't be able to do it for now. So, let's see if this works. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna call it a day, guys. And try and figure out somehow it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Done. Okay, maybe we're good to go then. Settings, replay. Well, hey, and it's the feature race as well. Okay, awesome. Right, I'm just gonna message the guys in the tier 4 chat and say that it's actually, I got it working. Okay, let's get started. So we've got Skittles in pole position because unfortunately he finished last in the feature race. And then we've got Sick in second after he was running in the top 5 because I think he had some tyre troubles. And Whack Jams, who was quite, well, he wasn't really troubling any of the battles that we were seeing. So let's start with him because it looks like he didn't have the best start. And it looks like Mr. Berserk might try and get an overtake done on the McLaren into turn 1. McLarens are pretty average on starts, and I think a lot of these cars are quite high speed. It looks like Berserk really squeezed him onto the inside corner of the line there, which means he's going to lose out to Andres and also, well, a couple of cars here. It looks like Oscar and Pyro might be getting past him as well. As I'm seeing people join, which is good, they got the memo. Sorry guys. Yeah, so Whack Jam's down to 5th, Berserk is up to 4th, and it looks like Andres in his Renault has made his way up 2 places already into 3rd place. Sick putting a lot of pressure on, there was a bit of a slide there, looks like Oscar's in P4 now, Whack Jam's P5, Pasty's worked his way up a little bit to 6th, Zab is in 7th, Ben 8th, Bomber, our podium position runner, is in P9, Turbo is in 10th, Pyro must have had a bad start, he's down 11th, Capale, our race winner, is 12th, and Berserk, let's find out what happened to him because he was up in 3rd. So he was up in 3rd, he got overtaken a little bit by Andres here. Let's ride on board with him. Really difficult corner here. Oh, Oscar, what was that? And as a result, Berserk's great starting position has been completely ruined by a really late move by another car. Really unlucky for him. And now he's right at the back. But let's join the front. We've got Skittles, who is being chased quite hard by the Huracan here down the back straight. Oh, what's happened here? Okay, let's rewind again. Okay, I don't know who was involved in any of that, but let's see. This may have been an incident in the stewards. So we have Ben here. He brakes incredibly late. He hits both the Porsches and clears the way for some good progress up the field, especially for Bomber, who was incredibly lucky in at the beginning of the feature race to avoid the accidents. He's done the same here. Whack Jams all the way back up to P4, which is great for him. He's on the mediums as well, so nice to be running that high. Looks like Skittles must have had a mistake out the final corner. Let's join with him. He was really wide going into the corner, and then on the exit, Six just going to have a great slipstream, and Skittles might actually come under pressure a little bit here from Guardrail Lover in the Renault. Really nice livery there. And he's going to be good enough on the brakes. No, that car, that Alpha's pretty decent on the brakes there, and he managed to outbrake Guardrail Lover and keep P2. Wack is just solidly in P3, and Bomber will be closing the gap on him a little bit now. Zab on his debut has worked his way up to P6 in the feature race, which is pretty decent. We got Turbo Boy P7. Pasty is in 8th. Holding up Pyro a little bit here, to be honest. So bear in mind, this is after these two Porsches were taken out a little bit. Obviously Pyro had a bit of a bad start as well to be down in 9th. This is why they're all close to the back. Berserk was taken out. Capeo just hasn't been able to make any progress yet. Our race winner, so he needs to get a move on, because if he wants to be in a championship fight, this is not the way to do it. But Sick has quite a commanding lead over Skittles. Skittles is kind of holding up Andres here. He's been all over the back of him all lap, and Andres, if he can get past him fairly quickly, could be on for a little bit of a challenge for a race win, because we know from race 1 that the Huracan's tyres go off a little bit quicker than everyone else's. Either that, or once they're dead, they are quite difficult to control, at least for Sick. Ben still managed to get a P4 with his tyres having a similar tyre wear rate. But at the moment, Skittles is driving really well here. He's left the door up a little bit there, but not too much. So he's not being an easy car to pass, and that's allowed Bomber, who actually overtook Wack. Let's see what happened. This was into turn 1. He's just firmly ahead of Wack as they enter turn 1. Good acceleration on that Genesis. Let's go forward a little bit. And he goes purple by over a 10th there. So Sick must have a 3 or 4 second lead at the moment. So this is working out really good for him in terms of strategy. Even if he has to do a 2-stop, for example, and some of these do 1-stops, they're all getting held up. They'll need to hold each other up a little bit more, though. Apart from that one incident, they've been running fairly close together. One giant snake from P2 all the way back down to P13 by the looks of it. The door looks like it's been left open on the outside a little bit for Guardrail to try a move. Is he going to get it done? Really difficult to get a move done around the outside there, but he does brake incredibly late and manages to get it done, which is fantastic for him. He's going to be able to try and close down Sick, who's on the softs, by the way. That's the reason why he's been able to pull away. Got Skittles was a little bit wide again. He always takes that corner a little bit wide, I've noticed, which when you're battling other cars isn't good. You need to hug the inside so that they can't do what Bomber just did on Skittles and basically jump into the part of the track that you were about to drive into before you get there. Looks like quite a late break there from Zab, and that's ended up with Skittles being in the gravel, unfortunately for him. So this is his brief trip to at the front of the grid seems to be over now, and he's actually outside of the top 10 there. So Berserk must have had a little mistakes. Obviously Skittles has had a little incident as well, because Capel is up from 13th to 11th now. But his teammates done much better. His teammates all the way up to 5th after finishing 2nd. Still behind the final podium finisher though, Bomber. He's already on the podium again, so this could be a 2nd feature race win for Bomber if he manages to dispatch of Guardrail and Sick fairly quickly. He's also on the softs though, so he's going to have to deal with the mediums for the rest of the race. Not the optimal strategy starting on the softs when you've got all this traffic, because you're going to just lose a lot of time battling rather than getting the lap time out of the soft tyres, but it's managed to get him up to P2, so it seems to be working out pretty well for him. If he'd ended up in the gravel in lap 1, like some of the other drivers, then it would have been really difficult. But the gamble seems to have paid off. What is it they say about the luck of the Irish? Question is, will Andres have a chance to close the gap? No, he's not close enough to get a move done on this lap, certainly. Got Zab, and then we've got Turbo Boy just ahead of Whack Jams, who might try and think about a move. Turbo Boy doesn't defend the inside. I'm sorry, that's Pasty on Whack Jams. Whack Jams didn't defend the inside, and Pasty just got through fairly comfortably. If you want to keep hold of your positions, you can think about placing your car a little bit more strategically to avoid what happened there happening, unless you're trying not to lose time. But they are on the same tyres, so it's in his interest to try and keep up with them. I think he had a bit more pace last week, did Whack. I think he's struggling with these top guys this week. Ooh, all sorts going on behind there. So Oscar's got a 1 second penalty. He's getting pushed all over the place by Capel. Ben's there as well. Looks like they're going to go 3 wide into the uphill chicane. And Capel looks like he's got the move done. Ben might... Oh, that's a bit naughty. It looked like he lost a bit of traction there, actually. Where is Capel? Oh, Capel's all the way at the back. Right, let's see what happened here. Let's ride on board. So, a little bit of contacts there coming out. Actually, let's go back a little bit more. So, Oscar's sliding out of turn 4 as they approach turn 5. Capel, yeah, puts his car where it doesn't really belong. He wasn't alongside enough to try and get a move done there. So that was a little bit naughty. And then he has the inside line here. And then Oscar had the better exit. It kind of pushes him off. So a bit of tit for tat in terms of how aggressive these two were being. Don't know if they had some words in the chat afterwards, but not the best driving by either of them. Certainly not the cleanest. Skittles down in 10th. Looks like he's battling Ben, who was just behind those two, but obviously they had their offs. So not the best week for Oscar so far. Like I said, he didn't have the best result in the sprint, and he's outside the top 10 in the feature, so he's got a lot of work to do, but there is still 32 minutes left of this race. Oh, Six got a second penalty. That's going to really penalise him. Right, got Bomber coming down as well. This is lap 6. Andres is getting caught a little bit by Zab here now, who's on the softs. Turbo Boy on the mediums, quite comfortable. As is Pasty. Keeping up with these. Pyro's got past Whack Jams as well, so he's now in P7. Whack has been losing about a place a lap at the moment. We've got Ben in P9, who's had a bit of an incident and then managed to avoid a big incident, and he's worked his way up to 9th. Skittles in 10th, just ahead of Mr. Berserk, who's had his own problems this race. Berserk looks like he's got a lot more pace at the moment, both of them on the medium tyres. No move getting done yet. Let's join. Oh, he's got another half-second penalty. So Six just served a full second penalty, which is why Bomber is so close to him. Now he's got another half-second penalty. His tyres are maybe 20% left, less than on the left-hand side, whereas Bomber is maybe at the 60-75% mark. Capel's claiming lag. It doesn't look that laggy on this stream, but right, I feel like it's only a matter of time before our championship leader takes the lead of this race. look at, for example, well, the last representative laps they did, so 42.7 for Bomber. Sick did a 41.9 2 laps ago, which is pretty decent. Obviously struggling a lot last lap with the second penalty. And now he's starting to lose a lot of traction on these tyres. And he's in the danger zone now in terms of how close behind Bomber is. Bomber might not even have to do an overtake, which is pretty similar to what happened to his fortunes last week in Suzuka. He didn't have to get many overtakes done to get into P1. Same again here. Look, he's already ahead before the braking zone. Andres isn't too far behind either, with much fresher tyres now. So if Sick's going to be losing traction on corner exits and going a little bit slidey just like that, it might only be a matter of time before he loses P2 as well. Maybe he needs to consider coming into the pits maybe next lap. Well, he's sticking it out for now. Let's see what the time difference is. So 42.1, a 44.1 for Sick, and a 42.4 for Andres, so pretty quick. And Zab in comparison is down in a 44, which is why Pasty's all over the back of him. And Turbo Boy, who himself, well, he was pretty high. I think he's lost a position there to Zab or Pasty. I can't tell, but Zab is battling with him at the moment. Managed to win that round. And Pyro's got Whack all over the back of him, so it looks like Whack's tyres have come back to him. He's looked after them a little bit better than Pyro's looked after his. And Whack is going to reclaim after going down a few positions since the start. He's managed to start working his way back up a little bit as his tyres are coming to him a little bit more than these other drivers. Turbo Boy all over the back of Pasty still, Zab, sorry, but that will end when he hits this little penalty zone. Very, very small penalty, but he's still going to try and get the move done before that. And what happens to Zab here? He keeps it on the road. So again, maybe a little bit of a naughty move there from Turbo Boy, but he wanted to get past to try and keep that position with the half-second penalty, which is why he was overly aggressive there. And it almost didn't pay off for him, but Zab's opened the door with a really deep entry into that corner, and Turbo Boy barges his way past. He's got the outside line for the next 3 corners though, so he needs to get the move. Yeah, he's fully ahead now, so he doesn't have much to worry about apart from the huge gaggle of cars right behind him. There is a yellow flag out on the track. I'm not sure who that was, but Sick is in the pits. Let's see, is anyone? Oscar and Capel right at the back, going to probably continue their fighting. Capel into the gravel slightly. What happened to Wax? Oh, Wax works his way up to P5. So he's managed to get past Zab here on the run down to turn 1. His 2 teammates, Zab probably letting him through a little bit there, not wanting to fight his teammate too much. Both of the McLarens. So bear in mind the McLaren probably has the best tyre wear out of this crop of cars, which is why Whack and Zab have been able to move up into the top 6 ahead of some of these other cars. And Turbo Boy will probably get caught by the pair of them as well, as long as they're working together. Ooh, has Whack overtaken him and started holding them up, I wonder? He's going wide in every corner here. He needs to start hitting these apexes. He's absolutely let Turbo Boy off a little bit here because he didn't have this kind of lead when his teammate was ahead. And Ben might try a cheeky look down the inside. Oh, is he going to get a double overtake done, or is he off the track? Where is he? He's over there. So he rejoins behind the McLarens and behind Zab. We're still ahead of Pyro. And then Berserk's lost a bit of ground to these guys. So Turbo Boy comes into the pits off his mediums on lap 9. Interesting strategy. Is he going to go to the end on his softs? I don't think so. Zab comes in off his softs as well, so he'll go mediums to the end and probably come under a little bit of pressure from other drivers who'll be on the soft tyres. I'll be interested to see if Turbo Boy comes out ahead or behind of Sick here, who is all on his own right at the back after his pit stop. Rounds out the final corner to start lap 10, sorry. We've got Zab ahead of him, so it looks like pitting early. Well, it wasn't good enough to keep Turbo Boy. Well, actually, Turbo Boy's done a splash and dash there. He's not really put much fuel in, but he's put a pair of the softs on, so he's going to be 2-stopping anyway. It looks like Sick may be trying to go to the end on these mediums. Don't think that's going to be possible. Either that or he's overfueled massively. And Zab's got a near full tank as well, but Zab is going to be going to the end. We got Bomber in the lead. He's built up quite a cushy lead over Andres, with Pasty in P3 for now. And Ben is really making these medium tyres work for him in the Huracan. Really extending. He probably needs one more or maybe 2 more laps on these if he wants to one-stop. Is he going in the pits? No, he stays out. So yeah, he's definitely... Everyone who's staying out now has to be one-stopping. Whack might have a little look to try and overtake Pyro again. So Pyro must have got back past him at some point. I keep missing all of Pyro's overtakes here. It's not on purpose. But I do find all of the moves where someone else overtakes him. Berserk's caught right up to these two as well, so yeah, there's definitely been something going on in these last couple of laps. Pyro really wide there. He is opening the door wide for Berserk, and he's left the inside line free for Berserk just to go down the inside. Doesn't hit the apex, but he does have enough grip to keep P6 ahead of Pyro. And Whack Jamps will be the next on his hit list. So we might see, well, Bomber is still on the softs, by the way. I just want to point out his skills at managing the tyres on this car are obviously better than other people's skills are on managing their tyres. So that is allowing him to, you know, do a one-stop where a bunch of people in the Gen X, especially pad users, probably can't do one-stops with the Gen X. Or they can, but it'll just be painful. But yeah, his tyre is completely dead now on the front right, and he goes into the pits, which means Guardrail will inherit the lead unless... he stays out, which is exactly what I would do if I had mediums with that much tyre life left. Pasty stays out as well. Ben is doing one more. So yeah, all the medium runners are doing one more lap. Berserk, look at his front left. It's so much better than everyone else's, but that rear might cause him a bit of understeer. Yeah, Ben does actually go into the pits actually. Pyro continues on, so he'll be in P6. And Capale is also in the pits after quite an eventful first stint, which didn't turn out too well for him. So he'll probably rejoin maybe at the back. Oscar pit a lap earlier, so maybe he'll get the undercut done on Capale. And Zab is comfortably behind Sick, who came out just ahead of him, so he hasn't been able to close the gap on this on his first lap out here. Both of them are on the mediums. So with all that, is Oscar going to get past Capale here? Focusing on them because they're probably going to be in the title hunt, even if they're at the back in this race. Yeah, Oscar's in last, so he's got a lot of work to do. Zab's comfortably in 10th, Sick is in 9th. Bomber has come back out in P8, behind Turbo Boy, interestingly enough, so these are the two that have pitted. Skittles hasn't pit yet. Pyro, yeah, so this top 6 haven't pit yet. Pyro's tyres are completely dead though, so He'll be coming in this lap, as will Pasty. Will Andres, he could technically go one more. He's going to go one more. Pasty surely has to come in now. Yeah, and he does. So he comes in later than his teammate did. What about Whack Jams? He's a fair amount behind Pasty, so he's lost a lot of time. Oh, he goes a little bit wide. He continues on. That might be a half second for him. I don't think so, actually. And Berserk's continuing on as well. Pyro does continue on as well. I'm really surprised to see that. As does Skittles, who does have better tyre life than Pyro, but is still losing ground regardless. So I think it's going to be a straight fight between Turbo Boy and Bomber, unless Turbo Boy does an extra stop, which he might do. He pitted on lap 9, yeah. So he'll have to try and stretch as much as possible on these soft tyres. He'll be stopping again for softs, I think, because he'll be 2 stopping, so maybe his ambitions aren't really a race win, they are more to finish on the podium. He's actually nearly caught up with these Alphas. Alphas are lapping in the 144s and Turbo Boy's lapping in the 141s. So it looked like Berserk's strategy in this race was just to kind of chill at the back of the pack until people's tyres started to go off and then start to get a little bit more aggressive, which is a good strategy. He's because it saves your tyre life. Although it looks like he's struggling with that rear left now. So Guardrail Lover and Pasty go into the pits, but Whack and Berserk don't. And I think Whack's going to be leading the race for the first time in his ALR career here, which is nice to see. And he's managing to extend on Berserk here as well, because his tyres, well, actually his front left's pretty dead, but I don't know, what would you prefer? I think I'd prefer to have a dead front left than a dead rear left. Skills is continuing as well, so he could end up becoming a bit of a problem for Turbo Boy, because his last lap was 5 seconds slower. And Turbo Boy's lapping about half a second quicker than Bomber as well at the moment. Guardrail, is he going to come out ahead of Sick? It looks like it, and Pasty is as well. And Sick's got another half-second penalty. So it seems like every time I see him, he's got a little penalty that's pushing him a little bit further back in the pecking order. Zab has come out in P9 on these mediums, which are going to easily go to the end of the McLaren. Hale's got a half-second penalty. Ben's got a half-second penalty. These guys will be pleased to know that Autopolis is quite a difficult track to get a penalty on. Much more difficult than these opening 2 rounds, certainly. But if you go off, there's a lot of gravel. So they have caught right up to the back of Zab, but it'll all be for nothing. Ben's actually going to try and move. Oh no, he backs out of it. He's pushing him right round. Maybe this is to do with lag, I'm not sure. But is he going to try and do a little dive bomb? No, because he has to go around the outside. He's going to try a bit of a cutback, but really difficult to do in that corner. Berserk finally comes into the pits, and Whack is going to continue again. Even though, well, it's impressive to lead the race and to try and do something a bit different, but this McLaren side driver could do 11 or 12 laps on the softs if you look after the tyres, which Whack clearly can. He doesn't need to be staying out on dead mediums when you've got fresh softs. I can guarantee his softs will be fresh at the end, and this is his punishment basically for staying out too long. His tyres have given up on him and they're not driving like they used to. Meanwhile, Turbo's tyres are treating him just fine. He's lapped not even a tenth quicker than Bomber at that last lap. So maybe it's either his tyres are starting to go off or he made a bit of a mistake, but he needs to really be focusing if he wants to come back in a decent position. I have a feeling he might finish behind all of the one-stoppers, bar maybe one or two. He's nearly caught up to Wamp, who is going to be a full pit stop down on the leaders when he comes in at the end of the lap. Andres, remember, he's been running in the podium positions all race in his Renault, so this will be his... Ooh, that might be a half-second penalty for him. But this will be his best finish of the season, quite comfortably. Has won races in ALR previously as well. In fact, I think most of these have. I'm not sure. I think Turbo Boy might not have, but he overtakes Wack because Wack's gone in. Well, I was going to say he went into the pits, but he went into the pit wall. So yeah, that might put Wack right outside the top 10. So Guardrail Lover is going to reclaim his podium position, but Pasty's closing in on him pretty well here. Pasty showing some good pace in this feature race. And Capale has managed to work his way up to 5th with Zab and Oscar. Oscar all of a sudden is in P7 here. Don't know how that's happened. And now he's in P6 because he's got the inside into turn 1 as well. And Berserk on his softs down in P8. Pyro will be hunting down Berserk now, I think. And Skittles rounding out the top 10, so that would be a good result if you can get this 10th place. Wack, after his horrible in-lap, let's call it, is in P11, and the two Hurricanes who both made their final stops are 12th and 13th, so they do have a good chance of undercutting anyone who has to come in and make an extra pit stop. But at the moment, I think it's advantage Bomber to get his 3rd win of the season. Unless Turbo Boy can pull out some sort of... No, he doesn't have enough fuel, does he? We've got 13 minutes left. He's definitely... Oh, he's coming to the pits now. So this will be fascinating. So, Wack, he was just behind him, but Wack actually hit the wall and stuff. So he might come out in between Pyro and Skittles, probably. So we've got a new race leader in Bomber, who I think might be leading for the first time, actually. Because he started so far back. Andres in P2, so his day's just getting better and better, to be honest. And Pasty in P3, another podium for him he'll be happy with. And Capale all the way up to P4, and he isn't going to have to stop again. So Capale and Oscar, after getting in all sorts of trouble, riding at the back before the pit stops, and now in P4 and 5, so just have a think about where they could have been if... Oh, he gets... Yeah, I thought he cut that corner. And that could let Azab get past him as well. But I was going to say, yeah, Capale and Oscar could have potentially been maybe 10 seconds up the road. Definitely ahead of Pasty and Andres, if not ahead of Bomber, but at least putting some pressure. And when you put pressure on, when you don't put pressure on drivers, they just don't have to try so hard, which makes them actually more at ease with the car and make less mistakes. Whereas if you're putting pressure on them, even if they might have a slight pace advantage, they can struggle. So is Oscar going to get overtaken? 1.5 seconds is a really, really long time here. And it's quite difficult to judge the next braking point as well when you have that. So Zab's right behind him, but he goes just as wide as Oscar did. If he didn't go wide, he could have got past there and had P5. So maybe that's a bit of a missed opportunity. And Zab gets a half-second penalty as well. So this is great news for Capale. He's not going to come under any pressure anytime soon. He's got quite a big gap ahead of him and behind him. Pasty also has the fastest lap. Oscar comes into the pits, so his tyres are dead. Maybe that's why he had such a good second stint, because he was really doing everything he could. Turbo Boy's down in 9th, by the way, so like I said, he did slot in between the two Alfa Romeos, and he's now up to P8 because of Oscar's pit stop. we've got Whack ahead of Ben, ahead of Sick with another half-second penalty. It's usually an indication of not practicing enough for a track if you keep getting the half-second penalties, especially when tyres start going off. That's like the biggest challenge in terms of tracks where you can easily get time penalties for cutting chicanes and going a little bit too wide and keeping your foot on the pedal. You have to make these tiny adjustments as the car evolves during a race, as the fuel gets lighter and the tyres get weaker, and then adjust again after the pit stop. So I wonder if Pasti can get P2 here. They seem to be going at a pretty similar pace, so last two laps 40.7 and a 40.9. Incredibly fast, by the way. Quicker than what I was doing, and I'm in a tier higher than them. Pasti in the low 41s as well. Capel also in the 41s, so yeah, Andres doing pretty well at the moment. He's 2/10 quicker in that lap as well. Capel faster than both of them though, that time around. We've got Zab who's in the 42s, 43s, 44s. He's always been battling as well, but to be honest, the McLaren probably isn't the fastest on pace compared to some of these cars, but it does get better as the race goes on. Where's Turbo Boy? Turbo Boy is catching up to the back of these guys with much fresher tyres, soft tyres at that. Definitely chose the wrong strategy though. That RCZ can do one stop around here quite comfortably. Oh, Pyro, what happened? Oh, let's watch on board. So, Berserk goes a little bit wide there actually. I wonder if that distracts Pyro slightly. So he takes the corner fine, but on the exit he just gets onto throttle a little bit too early, and he understeers into the gravel and then into the wall. So that's gifted Turbo Boy place, and also he's put his own teammate into the wall and allowed Whack to just claim two positions very easily. Oh, what chaos. What if they had words after? So Skill's having a bit of a better race. He's got completely dead, not dead, broken tyres and a front bumper at the moment. And Pyro only has one front broken tyre. And they've allowed the McLaren with much better tyre life through. I like that livery actually. Can't see it in the dark. Queen's Head. Let's ask him what the Queen's Head is. So yeah, Whack is a comfortable 8th now. It looks like he's going to start driving away from the Alphas behind. Pyro might actually be holding up Skills, and now Ben's caught up to both of them. No, he hasn't. I tell a lie. He is catching them though. He might do it before the end of the race, and then Oscar is all the way at the back. So yeah, it's starting to group up a little bit at the back here as the two stoppers are catching up to the one stoppers. Skittles is getting a bit impatient behind his teammate, who slowed him down so much the previous lap, by 12 seconds to be exact. See what's happening a little bit further up. Looks like Berserk's managed to get past Zab somewhere. Oh, here we go. Zab was in P5, and he gets bumped out the way a little bit there by Turbo Boy, I think. Let's go back. So Turbo Boy very keen on his soft tyres to get past these guys. He's little mini dive bomb under braking, but yeah, that's pretty bad driving from Turbo Boy, I've got to say. And he gets P5 for it. That and Zab loses 2 spots, so he was a comfortable 5th. He wasn't even getting challenged by Turbo Boy. That incredibly late break there means that Turbo Boy gets the position. He's probably going to be able to drive away a little bit as well. So if that had been reported, probably would have given, well, 10 seconds to be honest, maybe 15. So I think Turbo Boy can count himself lucky there. So the Peugeots are in 4th and 5th at the moment. We got a Porsche in 3rd. The Renault, I think it's the only Renault in the race today, in 2nd, and the Gen X, the only Gen X in the race today, in 1st. So if we're looking at the constructors, it's happy days for the Peugeot team. I think they're probably going to take the lead of the constructors here after a 1-2 and a 4-5. Berserk, this will be his best result if he manages to hold on to P6. Zab was P7 in the previous race as well. Wack has taken advantage of some other people's mistakes and made some mistakes himself, but he's in a comfortable P8 at the moment with pretty good tyres. Pyro's in 9th on dead tyres, and Skittles has much stronger tyres and he's in 10th, but he's getting chased down by Ben now, who is on pretty fresh tyres himself on the softs. No one behind them at the moment. Looked like the Huracan added some better traction there coming out of turn 3. And Skittles leaves the door open. And Ben just claims P10 fairly easily. And now Pyro's going to be next, whose tyres are completely dead. And maybe this was a mistake from the Alpha team. Maybe Pyro should have let Skittles drive off into the distance with his better tyre life, because they're both going to lose a position now, which is probably going to be like, well, it's either, I think it's 4 points in total they'll lose to the Huracan team. I did drive the Huracan around here on a beach race. It feels really good to drive around. It's a bit slidey, especially around turns 3 and the final corner, but it's very fun to drive and it's really quick as well, especially in a straight line, really good acceleration. These guys unfortunately couldn't get a 1 stop out of, well actually no, I tell a lie, Ben is doing a 1 stop, because I could get a 1 stop as well. Ooh, pushes him through the corner because he's got that much better grip. And this is going to be the overtake here. Oh, he's had to back out, which might allow Pyro a bit of a chance here. He's in his slipstream, but is he going to be able to go for a move? He can definitely brake later than Pyro, but he backs out of it very, very early on. Maybe turn 3, there might be a bit of a door opened for him. No, Pyro's hugging the inside really well. Ben's going to try and move around the outside. If he gets this done, that's incredibly impressive. It's going to be 3 wide, maybe. And Ben gets it done. That's one of the overtakes of the season already, I reckon. Pyro protecting from Skittles now. I think Ben's just going to drive away from him pretty easily here. Sticking right to the back of the gearbox. Ooh, Oscar's had a move down the inside of Skittles there. So he was nowhere near this battle, but they've been fighting so much and Pyro's pace has been so off at the head of this train that the car with the fastest lap of the race has managed to close the gap incredibly quickly. Flashing his lights. Don't know if that's a distraction tactic or because he's smashing down the pad. But he's got a half-second penalty, so he's going to have to get a move done on Pyro right now and build up a pretty decent lap, because this is the final lap of the race. Skittles makes a move down the inside though. Oscar takes to the exit road, but Skittles goes wide and he just gifts the place back. Oscar goes wide as well and kind of pushes him completely off the track, so not the best driving again here from Oscar. Needs to keep it a bit more clean. Ben might, well, there might be another little twist here because Ben's got a 1 second penalty. I don't know if Pyro's close enough to take advantage of that. It doesn't look to be the case. Whack Jams has a half-second penalty as well, but let's join the leaders. So, rounding off, we've just gone past the 40-minute mark, so these guys aren't going to get the final 24th lap. Bomber is going to win, but he wasn't that close in the end to Andres, guardrail lover in the Renault, who gets P2. Pasty takes a comfortable P3 after he couldn't keep up with Andres. Capale managed to recover really well to get 4th place. Turbo Boy is the top of our 2 stoppers. He's going to finish 5th in the end. 6th place for the Ferrari of Mr. Berserk. Best result of the season so far. Zab claims his 2nd P7 of the round on his debut. Whack had a very eventful race, takes P8 in the end. Ben also incredibly eventful, takes P9. Oscar managed to overtake Pyro on the very last corner for 10th. Pyro 11th. Skittles must have had some issues, takes 12th. And Sick, who had some tyre problems all race, is down in 13th. And that's it. So Bomber is our our championship leader at the moment. He's got quite a hefty advantage, but there is a big pack of drivers behind him who can close the gap. But yeah, thanks for watching and join me next week.